Welcome into Cincinnati Soccer Talk 2023. We're glad to be back with you all as FC Cincinnati gets back to it. Preseason, we had the U.S. men's national team playing last night. It almost, for a second, felt like the good old days where we played soccer again. And we're going to be talking all about soccer, though. We finally have some new news to talk about. We have awesome guests. You may have heard of them. A bunch of our Glory Day players playing for a new team called the Natty SC. And Brian's done a great job of gathering them together after they already did a great job of gathering themselves for an awesome tournament they're going to be playing. We will bring them in here shortly to talk about that. Brian, it is good to see your face, sir. You did the last podcast without me. It was all right.
Well, I think people enjoy your voice hosting more versus the pitchiness of my ginger soul. But yeah, glad to be back here. We're getting real close to, I guess, a month away from the first regular season match in TQL Stadium. So this is definitely a nice little distraction as well from the smack talk going on between Kansas City and Cincinnati fans on the football side. So glad to be here. Can't wait to see talk to some of our club legends tonight. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this one. We had one of our co-hosts couldn't make it tonight, and I remember saying, "Oh man, what this guy? What a loss for this guy." Trying to catch up with everything that has been, but you know who is here? Jeff Chevitz. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, it's been good to have a little bit of a break between the World Cup, the international coverage, and then a month and a half or so passed by, and there's an international game all of a sudden. So yeah, the drama has been a little maddening, but in a month we can all set that aside and finally get into a winning form. I mean, I can't wait to go into a season where our expectations are much higher through the roof.
Yeah, they are higher, right? I think that's a given. Even coach, we put an article on our website this week talking to head coach Pat Noonan, and he even addressed it. We're not sneaking up. I think that was my favorite line he said. We're not sneaking up on teams in 2023. So I think they know they have to do a lot more this year. We're going to dive into all that and more. As you know by now, though, Apollo Home is our awesome sponsor for 2023, and they're the premium home service provider in Cincinnati. They pride themselves on awesome customer service, expert technicians, and 7-day-a-week service. And for a limited time, they are offering a $39 furnace tune-up. This is only for the January and February months, but keep your HVAC system running strong this winter with this $39 tune-up offer. Give them a call or schedule online at apollohome.com. We want to thank them, of course, for sticking with us in 2023. Well, let's dive into it. FC Cincinnati, Lucho, Brenner, rumored talk, Brian. It's all over the webs. Every single time I log in, I feel like it's a new team with a new player, but Lucho seems to be getting the brunt of it this week.
Yeah, this week I guess he's being linked to Brazil. I can't believe they'd allow an Argentine in Brazil, but Rio de Janeiro club Vasco da Gama was linked with Lucho. Again, it's kind of a weird thing. I think it's been debunked a little bit, but it's kind of one of those rumors that's like, they are owned by two Americans based in Miami. They're trying to change the tune of the club. They were recently promoted. I know they were having a bunch of trouble paying their players, but I don't know if how much of it's true or just Lucho's agent is out there trying to peddle his services or to get him a raise here in Cincinnati. But I don't like it. I don't like having all this chatter with Brenner and Costa and after this past US game, what's going to happen with Vazquez?
We didn't have these problems when we were last place. Let me tell you what.
No, never. No, we were trying to get rid of players back then. No, I'm joking.
Oh man, Jeff, you worried about it? See, here's the thing: the window closes in like a week, at least the European one. So do we minimize our chances here soon of anything happening?
I mean, I thought that the window in Europe will be closing soon, but I thought the window for us will remain open, which is why this Vasco da Gama one might end up having legs. But I mean, I look at the team itself. They do have an Argentinian player on it. That's fine. They recently got, I think, third place in Serie B, which meant that they got themselves promoted, which is good. But I mean, you're also getting into a team which could be on the precipice of heading back down if they don't perform at the level that they should be performing at. So.
Hey, he joined FCC, so he's used to that.
Yeah, well, he knew that the pressure wasn't there to get demoted, but I don't think there's legs to it yet, and I don't think there should be any legs to it. I think we should be going into the season expecting Acosta, expecting Vazquez, and to some extent expecting Brenner.
Again, to your point, Boston, the transfer window closes next Tuesday, the 31st, and the majority of European countries, I think, like Portugal, goes to like Thursday next week or Wednesday. But there's certain cautions. I mean, I think Tom Bogert put out something last week that he expected Brenner to maybe depart this window, but our window to bring in players is still open through April. So I guess, whether it's bringing in a center back, bringing in a forward, there's certain flexibilities bringing in players versus, moving them out, which, I hope we don't have to. I'd love to have our big three in the lineup come end of February.
The one good thing for FC Cincinnati fans is Carl Linder has made it very, very clear he wants to win now. He's not looking to make a quick buck here. He made it clear with the Vazquez offer. I think they know what they have this year, and they're trying to keep a roster together that will equal results and give it a decent shot.
We haven't had a roster that's been together since the second to third year of USL. I mean, and even in that third year is still a pretty heavy rebuild, but yeah, it kind of does feel like that third year of USL, like where we have expectations where we never have now. And, it almost I don't say it's a responsibility to keep the players around, but I mean, I think the fans deserve it.
I'm kind of surprised how very little movement we've actually seen within our team. You take a look at the likes of Orlando, who have flushed 8 names, brought in 10. They're on full reset cycle right there. You see, a lot of movement in New York City with the promise of refilling those spaces with talent, and they can afford that talent. So I'm kind of surprised that we haven't really done much other than bring up some of our homegrown players and bring in a few quality spots. And maybe that's the gambling habit that we're going to get into, where this is the year that Kimi Ordonez makes his mark. This is the year we might see Jimenez get significant minutes in the first team. This is a possibility that can go in any direction, whether it be bringing in experienced players or seeing what the youth can give you.
Well, you have a couple months to see that too. I mean, you have 2 months, basically the end of February to the end of April, where you can see these young guys. You give them a month and a half, 5 games, if they can make an impact. I know that's tough, but you still have a bucket of money there sitting there to bring in extra players. You got, $2.5 million in, between cap, GAM, WAM, Tanky, whatever they call it anymore. I mean, there's still mechanisms to bring in players if we need to, but you have a good core. You still have a right back that you might bring in. I pray that we bring a center back in. And if random pieces work out, now we're not scrambling. We've always been scrambling. This year, we don't have to.
What about the theory of FC Cincinnati has most of their playoff team intact? They just make 1 or 2 small changes. We go into the season, see what if you're Albright, you just leave the pile of money open for the summer window. Is that a valid theory? Do you think they'd be okay?
It's a tough call, because I look at the schedule and I see a lot of the teams that we're playing in the first half of the season is Western. We're almost all 6 of the teams that we're supposed to play from the West are in the first half of the season. So maybe there might be some affordability there, that we don't have to win all of these games, even though they would count in our standings. We're not facing the East. These are not 6-point games. So maybe there is a little bit of flexibility there, where you don't have to bring in superhuman talent to fill in voids that you've created. You can wait and see what the summer window gives you, and then plug those properly with the spots that you've been weak at.
Yeah. The thought kind of popped in my head. I find it hard to spend all the money in assets that they have in the short amount of time they have. So it might just be a situation where maybe they don't think they have to. Let's see what happens in the first 6 games, and then let's talk.
We'll see.
That's just a random theory. Let's dive into what I think most people are going to be listening this pod. You're driving to work tomorrow morning. You're here for the Natty SC, your former FC Cincinnati glory days. Brian, do us the favor of bringing in whomever.
Oh, you're going to
want
make me
bring
do
in
intros for all these guys? Is that
Yeah.
what we're doing? We're still waiting on one of them, but I guess we'll get there. Let's just bring them all in here as a group. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. First time we're actually going around here. All right, boys, here we are. We got some friendly faces here. I guess starting bottom left, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Andrew Wiedeman. How we doing, pal?
I'm doing fantastic.
Are you out in the West Coast? It looks like it's still sunny behind you.
No, just
he's
really
freezing.
bright lights. You like the decorations back here?
There you go. Looks good, man.
I'm in Southern California.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be out there in a couple weeks celebrating a nice wedding. So I hope you keep the weather nice for me here. We got dead center here, but I should be putting him on the right hand side. We got Pat McMahon. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Not too shabby. Could be a little bit warmer here in Cincinnati. I know there's an affectionate nickname everybody has for you, Pat McMahon Bun.
Yeah. Show us
you
your
got a turn
haircut.
here?
Pat.
You got it?
Oh,
So-
no.
I was
got-
about to say, who is the stranger in here?
I gotta
today?
grow
I don't
back,
even recognize.
Yeah.
Is that? I think Mike Millay just joined us. Is that contractually obligated that Pat has to bring that back? The McMahon Bun?
Yeah, 100%. He said he's going to do the best he can in 4 months, and if
4
he doesn't
months.
do it, if he doesn't do a good enough job, we're kicking him off the team.
I was wondering if he did a Steinbrenner and forced him to like shave it off like Mattingly's sideburns to join the team or something like that.
I can get a wig.
Well, when you're starting to get up to our age, pal, you start losing it. So good for you. We got just under Jeff here on the, right side of the screen. We got Jimmy McLaughlin. How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Good to be on. I'll tell you what, the production quality and value of this show is really top of the line these days. What a nice platform this is.
We're getting there, man. It's
We'll try.
all supported by our lovely listeners here. I think Jimmy has to at least be setting a record for the most guest appearances on the show. We had you this past fall with Matt Miazga down at Samuel Adams. So glad to have you back.
Absolutely. You guys keeping track of that? I'd love to see the standing somewhere.
I'm going to blame that on my twin brother, Brad, for not doing that. But yes, no, you certainly are. We got Dallas J, man. How you doing?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys having me on. I know you got the all-star cast here above me, so I'm glad I was just able to be featured with these guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people ready to crack out the Jay says nay when we travel down to Cary, North Carolina to celebrate you guys. So.
You got mad respect from me when you got that red card in the Rochester game at home. I love it when you get a red card off the bench. It makes me feel like you become a man at that point.
To this day, I can't. I'm hoping that record never gets broken at the club. I want to be the only player to have ever done that.
I literally had in my notes, like, who's going to say that question? Who's going to bring that up? Of course, we have now, I think, is it head coach, GM, Mike Millay? How you doing, man?
I've been good, man. Yeah, really leaning into this head coach, GM. Actually, Omar is the head coach.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to be a player again.
So we get to blame Omar.
Yes.
Or celebrate
anything
Omar.
that happens, yeah, we blame Omar. Either way.
Is that just because Omar's lost his running legs?
Omar actually, he was super and wanted to do it, but yeah, he was a little concerned for his knees. But I respect it too. I'm a little concerned for my knees too, but.
Well,
Yeah.
we're happy to have you guys. Listeners, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. If you have any questions to ask the guys, please drop them in there. So real quick, guys, I know we know some of you more recently, or have talked to some of you more recently than others, but let's kind of start around the horn real quick with what you've been up to. Yes, Pat, we know where you've been recently, so we won't harp on that too much. But I guess let's start over here with Andrew. We'll kind of go the same path. What have you been up to? And I think a lot of people remember that big celebration of you ripping your shirt off in the Chicago game. You still got that 8-pack down there, bud, or are you gonna have to work back out?
No, man. The lines between the abs have been filling in, so no 8 abs anymore.
There's no way your beautiful bride has allowed that. There's no way.
Yeah, no, she has. It's getting away from you guys.
That's what happens when you get married. It's all downhill.
Yeah, that's true. But that, and then the fact that I gave up professional sports to follow my true passion of selling containers. Here we are. I'm in Southern California. I'm working for a tech logistics company. Think like Uber, but for getting containers from the ports and then moving them to the next spot. So I guess I'm part of the reason why you guys have all had to pay so much for product the past couple of years and didn't get anything on time.
As long as it's going to your salary.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
That's right.
Pat, what you
And
been up
you're
to,
a
man?
golfer. You're a golfer.
Oh,
too, bro.
golfer.
He's still practicing his swing as we
Oh,
speak.
Just has it ready.
Always. All his life.
Yeah,
Trying to
practice.
get a scale route.
Oh shoot. Well, you can golf 365 days out in Southern California. So
Oh, that's my wife's family's in Omaha, and we were out there for Christmas, and they were giving us the full court press as usual. But that's the one thing that's holding me back. That's like 6 months of no golf, so just non-starter.
oh man. That's one of my favorite things of seeing some of our new transfers, some of the Southern American guys coming up here and being like, holy crap, I've never felt 5 degrees. So love seeing some of that. Pat McMahon, I think you retired, was it at the end of the 2021 season? What have you been up to? How's life?
Yeah, retired then, hung the boots up. I was
After several
actually-
championships?
Yep, which was nice. But too bad we couldn't get one with Cincinnati, when I was there. But we actually had a kid 7 months ago.
Congrats.
So that was part of the reason I was like, all right, I got to start doing something else, But yeah, hung the boots up, and then I'm working at Aon, which sponsored Man U at one point. But just doing in the finance world. So we'll see how it goes. Completely different, but so far so good.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, FC Cincinnati is still searching for a right back. So,
Hey,
big shoes to fill, pal.
After the tournament, I'm getting back in shape again now, so I'll just keep it rolling. Transfer window.
There you go, Jimmy. I know we've talked to you recently the most. Are you still finishing school, being around the team? What's your plan for the year?
Yeah, so I'm finishing school right now. I'm working for a company in Philadelphia actually called Graham Partners. So I go back to Philadelphia, every kind of 3 to 4 weeks to be there and be in the office. And then, when I have some free time here in Cincinnati, I try to help out at some different events and some different things that the organization is putting together. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a lot of work, but I'm enjoying everything I'm doing, and it's been cool to start training a little bit again and start running and kicking the ball around, preparing for this tournament.
Well, my favorite thing last season was walking through the club. You were around a lot last year, and
I'm a season ticket holder, so
Yeah.
I'm at all the games
and seeing these people go, is that Jimmy? He's like, you're always off over there. Is that Jimmy McLaughlin? Should I say hi? And just like asking their spouse, like, I don't want to mess up. The way maybe that's some guy that looks like Jimmy.
That's too funny. No, yeah, I love going to the games, and it's definitely different being on the other side, watching from the stands. But it's definitely a great time. I mean, you're not going to find a much better place to watch a game, and obviously with the quality of the team these days, it makes it a really enjoyable experience.
Now, Dallas, I think I've seen you've been still playing and then coaching. Is that right?
Yeah, so I hung them up about 6 months ago. I wrapped things up with Monterey Bay, which was a new USL team last year. Before that, spent a couple of years in Greenville with John Harkes and Tyler Pollock, Aaron Walker, some of the old Cincinnati boys, which was an awesome experience. And now I'm Division I college coach, just trying to find the next FC Cincinnati player, trying to send some guys out that way from the college game.
Nice.
That's great.
I worked with Millay back at the Cincinnati Dutch Lions era. I know that's the big dreams down there, is just trying to find that one opening you could find for some of those guys to just make their pro career.
Absolutely.
That was actually a nightmare ending for me. I don't even know if these guys know this story either. I don't think I've actually told any of you guys how my Dutch Lions career ended. But yeah, Nico basically, I was done. Like I hadn't played in 2 years, I think, and Nico was the coach. And so Nico had called me with like 4 games left in the season because they like had a shot at like winning their division. And so he called me and was like, "Yo, we're dropping like flies. Like all the guys are either getting hurt or going back to school. Like, can you step in for 4 games?" And I was like, "Bro, I haven't even been running at all." And I was like, "Whatever, bro. I'll do it." And so the plan was just to like throw me in the game with like 35 minutes left in every game, just to like close it down and shut things down. And did solid, like super solid the first 3 games. Like we won them, and then we were playing the Michigan Bucks, and I think they had jumped us already in the standings from, I don't even remember what happened, but like we didn't really have a chance of going through. But obviously Nico wanted to end the season with a bang, and so we actually were killing them. We were up 3-0, and so 35 minutes left, he throws me in the game. He's like, "Just hold it down, defensive midfield, just like bash people, do whatever it takes to win us this game." And so like go in 25 minutes, super solid, and then with probably like 8 minutes left in the game, he literally threw it because he had picked up a bunch of like high school kids and a bunch of stuff. He basically throws in like 6 subs, and these are all like young kids with not much experience. And you could tell immediately like the game just shifted, like, and we just started getting wrecked. And within a minute and a half of the subs, boom, they scored a goal. Like right after, like 2 minutes later, boom, another goal. Oh, it's 3-2. And so I'm like yelling at the center back, because they're just getting wrecked. I'm like, "Dude, get the frick out of here." I was like, I'm stepping in the center back. You come here in the midfield. And literally with 10 seconds left in the game, their forward like beats 3 guys, takes a big touch. I'm obviously slow to step because I'm gained 30 pounds at this point. And slow to step, lunge for it, puts it right through my legs, goes in, scores, ties the game, whistle blows. And that was the last competitive game I ever played. And I walked off the sideline, and Nico was just looking at me. I was like, "Bro, I'm so sorry." I was like, "I'm so sorry."
And then they
2 points.
Yeah.
We still walked away with a point, but I was, yeah.
There you go.
I didn't even know what to say to this man, bro. I like couldn't make eye contact with Nico. I was like, felt so ashamed. I was like, "Dude." And it was after I had kicked the center back out too. I had literally told him like, "Dude, get the heck out of here."
and those high school kids are like, "Why is this guy drinking a 24 pack in the parking lot afterwards?" What?
That's the
Yeah.
painful thing about the USL too, is that coaches like Dallas J call their players back about 1 month before you finish the season, and then you have to scramble. That happened every year.
Absolutely. That is the schedule we're on. That's absolutely how we do it.
Oh shoot! So real quick, Michael. I know you're kind of, I don't say, correct me if I'm wrong, pretty much the brains behind this operation. So tell us, how did Natty SC begin, and how did you get these fine gentlemen to join you? Did you con them? Did you bribe them, blackmail them? I know Wiedeman probably blackmail somehow, but
Yeah, all the above. Now so it all started. I mean, it started like 9 months ago. We TBT had approached me. They had approached Rooted to basically help them launch the tournament. So we've been a creative partner of theirs for 8 months now, and they basically were just looking to have an agency help them on the soccer side because they're all big basketball guys. And so obviously we have a bunch of former players on staff, and we do a lot of work in soccer. And so as we started to build things and it became more serious, I was like, "Oh, this is actually like really going to happen this year." And so I had told them, like, "Well, what if I just like was put a team in this?" And they were like, "And would I be allowed to?" Because obviously, we're working on it. And they were like, "Yeah, absolutely. Just throw a team together." And so I kind of like floated it to Jimmy and Omar first, because we, all help out with the West End Pride. And Omar didn't believe me at all. He was just like, "Dude, get out of my face. I'm trying to coach here. Like, stop joking with me." Because I literally was just like, "Dude, you want to play in $1 million cash prize 7v7 tournament?" And he was like, "No, I don't. Like, leave me alone." And then I was like, "No, I'm serious though. Like, it's a real thing. It's gonna happen." Because it hadn't been announced publicly at all. So it's basically just, he thought I was messing with him. But then I talked to Jimmy as well, and Jimmy immediately was like, "Bro, let's do it." Yeah, he was all on board. And yeah, so obviously once we were getting closer, I started trying to make calls. I was talking to with Jimmy, like who else should we get and stuff. And all the calls were honestly completely different. Like I called Wiedeman. Well, I was watching the new Game of Thrones series and stepped out and was like, I mean, I also hadn't talked to like Wiedeman or Dallas or Pat in a good little bit too. And I'm sure Wiedeman was like, why is he calling me right now? But I was just like, yo, do you want to play again? And he was, you didn't hesitate either. You were on board. And then Dallas, I was actually at a Settlers of Catan tournament here when I called Dallas, stepped out in my break. Dallas had his side, but yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. I told the guys and told the TSC people, I was like, hey, I think I can, get back together this FCC crew. And yeah, they were all about it and super excited for it. Obviously there's a buy-in with things, but like, yeah, it's been great. It's been honestly super exciting. I didn't think we would be able to get this many. So I actually, there's a guy on our team, Eric, who's playing as well. But yeah, it's been awesome that we now have a full squad. So, and then yeah, Pat joined a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was late. I was like, oh, I gotta reach out. I gotta get involved.
Yeah, I also didn't fully know who had retired, but like it worked out because Dallas had just retired. Obviously Pat, Boehner had just retired. Jimmy recently, Wiedeman 8 years ago.
Oh.
I was joking.
Actually, we do have a January tracker of like important events, and Andrew Wiedeman's retirement day was like a couple days ago, but 5 years ago it was. But so we do remember you, cherish you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate
it. Jimmy's was last week, wasn't it? No, Jimmy was named FCC last week, 7 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, that calendar's legit.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Jimmy, we 7 years. I think it was on the 21st or 20th officially. You're named 7 years ago to FC Cincinnati. So your 7-year quote unquote anniversary.
That's awesome. No, thank you guys for letting me know about that. That's news to me.
Yeah, Pat, I'm sorry, man. You were one of the December guys, weren't you?
I forget. Yeah,
because we poached you from Rochester.
Yeah. It was probably soon after 2015.
There was an original group of guys that were on a stage, right? Yeah, I remember that.
I remember like the Kenny Walkers, and they were all sitting there with the jerseys held up. Yeah,
the big names. Yeah, they all went to movies. Like they had like a proper Cincinnati
Andrew
weekend.
Wiedeman.
Yeah, he was there. Pat, you were there too. I've seen the pictures, Pat.
I was there. Yeah,
Justin Berry, Kenny Walker, Ross Tomaselli, Mitch Hildebrand. I can probably go through all 11. Eric Stevenson.
Francisco was there, right?
Yeah,
probably.
I think, yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of goal scorers here. Has there been any bets yet on who's going to score the most goals? Is there a reward there, Mike?
I'll leave that up to these guys.
Well, I know you have a new forward that you guys just named today.
Yeah, he's going to sit the bench. No, we haven't. Yeah, we announced him like 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Yeah, it's breaking Twitter right now.
Are we talking about the same person? Is he in the background of my Zoom right now?
Yeah, that's him.
If you look really
Is there
close.
another forward?
No. I don't go on like Twitter or Instagram, so I don't know what's going on. But I think the Vegas odds have Danny Koenig as the favorite for leading a goal scorer on our team and also in the entire tournament. So minus like 250 or something last time I checked.
Hey,
Pretty
just
big
as long
favorite.
as we're not talking about Luke Spencer, we're all right.
Is Danny Koenig still playing soccer in any capacity?
No, I don't think so. Not for a couple of years, but I was talking to him today. Don't know how much he'll be ready to go.
It's going to be on whoever's like actually playing and training at some sort of regular interval. So.
He's a natural goal scorer, man. The guy's built to score goals. Like he could just show up after a decade and like he's going to score a couple.
And that's sort of a question I wanted to break on. Like, how easy is it to get back onto the bike mentally and physically to participate in one of these tournaments?
I'll let you know.
It's super easy.
Yeah. Maybe it depends on how much money they have at stake, whether how serious they'll take it or not.
It's honestly very hard. I also haven't played in 6 years, so I'm training every day. I mean, I'm not like playing soccer every day, but I'm trying to work out every day so that I don't get hurt. But
yeah,
that was tough making time for it.
I don't even think I can sprint yet, so I'm slowly building up.
All right.
And
Pat,
then, yeah.
I just wanna
you're
see-
really exciting our listeners for this.
Yeah.
I just want to see Pat. I just want to see Pat go studs up versus Clint Dempsey. That would just make
Oh,
my
that'd be
life.
great.
Oh my god!
I hear that there's no slide tackling though, right?
Nah, no slide tackling. That's one of the rules.
Accidentally, I'm trying to block it.
Yeah, I mean, are there any specific rules that? I mean, I know these are 7x7, but are there any special rules in place that makes this, adapted for 7x7?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So obviously no slide tackling is that it's 2 20-minute halves, and then there's an elam ending as well. So every game ends on a goal. So basically after the second 20-minute period, it's then first to 1 goal more than the highest score at the time. So if it's 3-1, it's then the first to 4, and it can be unlimited time. And then every 5 minutes, if the game's still going, somebody has to take a player. Both teams have to take a player off the field. That's kind of the main things. It's it's classic 7v7 rules. I'm pretty sure it's kicking. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
To
pretty
take
sure
a
it's
player
kicking.
off
It's
the
fast
field,
paced.
though.
No offsides.
What a hilarious situation that could be if it gets down to the goalies. Just Dallas and the other goalie one-on-one.
Battling.
I was just gonna say who would win in the old ancient MLS shootouts where you have to dribble. Would you be able to do that, Dallas?
Oh, I'd
Feel
live for that
confident
moment.
enough to score?
Oh, I would live for that. I've watched enough old ones. I've watched the old John Harkes ones. I would live for that.
It's a smaller goal.
A little bit
goal?
smaller. Yeah, it's still. I mean, they're still obviously goalies, so it's big enough to fit that. But yeah, it'll be a little bit smaller.
How many teams are we looking at in this tournament? And this is a decent prize. So
Yeah, so it's World Cup style. So 32 team, groups of 4, and then top 2 teams move on from each group. So we'll
Okay.
play 2 games on June 1st, at least 2 games June 1st, at least 1 game June 2nd. And then, yeah, if we advance our group, we'll play a second game on June 2nd, and then potentially 2 games on June 3rd if we obviously continue to advance. And then the championship's on the 4th.
as
So-
far as you know, are you the only former pro player group, or is there a group of ex-Louisville players out there somewhere? Sorry, Pat.
Oh no,
There's
I,
another Louisville player on this podcast right now.
yeah.
Who am I missing? Oh, Jimmy's.
Yeah, I can't say anything else on that. I mean, there's obviously the teams that are revealed. That's all we can talk about.
Oh, gotcha.
I
Gotcha. All
I
right.
think AJ Del Garza, I think his team made the 5th team announced recently, so that's pretty exciting. You have Clint Dempsey, a Mexican Oaxaca. So
Yeah, so you'll see. I mean, there's definitely some other big names that are going to be playing in it. They're supposed to be announcing up to 10 close to here by the end of the month.
Mhm.
But yeah, they'll start to trickle out more and more. But there definitely are a lot of big names playing in it. That's all I can really say.
I know there's been a bunch of excitement that a lot of you guys are the originals. What is when you guys are putting this whole thing together, how important was that for you guys to go and get a lot of that first group of FC Cincinnati players?
I mean, that was kind of. I mean, to be honest, those are the only guys I really had relationships with. So, yeah, I mean, Jimmy is the one that pulled in Danny, but yeah, I mean, that was kind of the whole spin on it, right? The whole spin was to kind of bring that OG team back together. Obviously, get as many guys as we could that had just retired or that obviously are at a high level that could play at a high level. But yeah, that was kind of meant to be the whole storyline behind it. But yeah, that's where the Natty SC camp. We threw around Nasty Natty, but Nasty Natty is actually the Cincinnati Bearcats team name for the basketball side of things. And then also the goal is to it's going to be nationally broadcasted, and part of our company's mission is to put Cincinnati on the map. So I was there's already a negative stigma around Cincinnati. The last thing I want is to put Nasty Natty on our jerseys. So yeah, we landed on Natty Soccer Club. So Natty SC.
Nice. Yeah, Joe Burrow's trying to erase that currently.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job.
No, I guess let's go around the horn. Why did personally you guys, what excited you about this? Wiedeman, what brought you into joining this group and taking this adventure one more time at least?
You gotta stop calling on me first. You're not giving me any time to
Well,
think
yeah,
about
I'll tell you what. It's just
No, I'll go for it. Mike asked really, really nicely. So no, I'm excited to just get back together with like Mike said, some of the OGs, right? I mean, some of these guys I haven't seen in 5 years, right? So it'll just be really cool to get back with that group. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard it over the years, but like one of the really cool things about that first group, that 2016 year, was just the locker room in general. Like it was a very, very tight knit group of guys. The spirit, the bond in that locker room was second to none, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to most, right? Just getting back together with the group and having fun. And I don't know, if we win a couple games in the process, that'll be cool too. But
yeah. Well, outside of not being able to take out Clint Dempsey now, Pat, you said you have a baby. What do you want to get out of this?
Probably $1 million. I got to support a
yeah,
kid now.
No. College fund, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. No, same with what Wiedeman was saying. It's just like just getting the guys back together, and you don't have that same atmosphere, like me now in the corporate side. Yeah, the culture, whatever, it's not the same. So it's always fun. Obviously, gives me some motivation to start running again. A year off, it's plenty of time. So let the bones heal. But yeah, I think it's just great getting back together with everyone from the original. And yeah, representing Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati. We were actually debating moving back to Cincinnati, but we fell on to Chicago. So maybe we'll move. We'll work our way down.
It's a little cold.
A little bit.
Chicago's a great town, man. Jimmy, I know outside of showing off for your girlfriend again, what you gonna put them up? You gonna put some numbers up for the fan base to cheer on?
That's the plan, I mean, it's gonna be cool, as Pat and Weeda were saying, more than anything, just to get everybody together again. And professional sports in general are so interesting, where when you're on the same team and you're in the heart of the season, like, you're so close with these guys. You see them every single day. You're spending so much time together, going through all these experiences together. And then when people move on and go to a different team, I mean, it's pretty difficult to find time to see guys. So just the reality of the situation is none of us have really spent a ton of time together over the last 5 years. And it's going to be an awesome opportunity to just hang out with everybody, let alone go on the field and play together again. I mean, I think it's such a unique opportunity that really never happens. And if we can win a quick $1 million, during the journey, it'd be pretty cool. So I'm buzzing to get out there with the guys.
Yeah, I mean, if it's been 4 or 5 years since you guys have all met, you must have a few celebrations in the tank that you're willing to cork out for us here.
You're right. I mean, we're workshopping them, I mean, we've had some behind the scenes Zoom meetings. We're working on it. I mean, Weeda's playing a ton of golf, so I'm sure we're going to incorporate something like that. We're going to have Weeda finally have his redemption with the shirt off, proper celebration without the yellow card and with a real goal that actually counts. So, I mean, I would say that's got to be the number one reason we're really bringing this back, to give Weeda an opportunity to finally set the record straight.
That's the only reson I'm playing, is because there's no offside.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm sure the ladies will appreciate it, pal. Don't worry.
I gotta do more crunches. Stop eating cheeseburgers.
So what's the plan? You guys, are you looking for sponsors? How can fans get involved and help? Like, how can we help? You see this giant logo covering my face. We're pretty good at it. So what can we do for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing right now. Obviously, people coming out and supporting during the tournament would be awesome. I know there's a lot of fans that have already reached out and said they're coming out and coming to watch and book some flights. So that'll obviously be great, and I think it's going to be a great time for everybody. And then financially, obviously, any sponsors will be great. So we can treat this just like a regular club, right? So we can sell jersey sponsors, we can sell short sponsors. We are going to be creating a lot of content while we're down there. So like, we're probably going to sell like a mini dog sponsor. But yeah, I mean, from obviously we're going to be traveling all the guys down there. We actually are going to try to get together the week of the tournament here in Cincinnati, to try to do some like open to the public training sessions and try to get, the ball moving a little bit together, since we haven't played. Some of us haven't played in years in general, but obviously kick around together, but welcome the fans and kind of just make something special, something very nostalgic for everybody. Like that's kind of going to be the goal with the jersey design and everything. It's just kind of trying to bring that like nostalgic feel. Like the jerseys are going to look like the first year jerseys, which weren't the most exciting look. So I was doing them the other day, and I was
love
like,
those, man. I love
The
those.
bomb pops are great.
"Nah, they're definitely sweet." I mean, they're original, but I was doing it, and I was like, "Ah."
I did see you
Can
guys
do
have
better
some
than
swag up on the TST store. Did have
Yeah, there's
some
going to be
gear
a lot
up
of
there.
merch. Yeah, we're designing a bunch right now. But yeah, they threw some up. That's kind of the stuff they made, and then we're going to launch our own line of stuff too. So, but yeah, I mean, if you guys know any sponsors, man, I'll talk to anybody. We have a few conversations going right now for the jersey sponsor. We're definitely trying to keep it local, obviously to support Cincy. But I think if people outside and it makes sense for them to do like a jersey sponsor because televised, and we're all ears. So
Once
Very
upon a
cool.
time, we got a big bank sponsor, so I'll have to tap our connections for you. See if we can
Dude,
tell
them to be our bank.
All right. So before we get you guys out of here, Mike Lahoud, of course, former co-host, now I guess analyst for Austin at Austin, and he always had a joke about CST After Dark, and this was some of his favorite colorful stories in their time at FC Cincinnati. So I know we've heard some things out there, but you guys have any fun stories you can share with our fan base, or putting you on the spot here? Any good hearty laughs at Wiedeman's expense or Mike's expense, hazing? You never know.
Yeah, I was definitely the one getting hazed. No shit. I was just crying my way through the season.
Hey, I made you play foot golf, so you did well there.
We should throw Derek under the bus. Wasn't there a music video once?
That's
I
not
was
We're
just
allowed to
going
talk about that. Are we allowed to bring that up?
some of us have actual jobs, man. You can't say let's keep that down.
Shoot. Well, how about this?
I watched Mitch talking to himself in the mirror one time before a game.
Well, like psyching himself up.
Yeah, like because like the goalies would go in first after warm-ups, and then we'd come back out, right? And I had to go in there to do something. And I walked in, we got the locker room, and then you go and it like connects to like the showers and the bathroom area. I'm walking in there, and Mitch is just in the mirror. I can't even recall what he was saying. It's, you got this. Or, you're really handsome.
You're the best
will
goalie
say
in the
no.
world.
You will say no.
But at first I thought he was talking to me, so I kind of turned and just kept going. So, but
Well,
it worked for him. So,
well, outside of that, and you guys have any favorite moments in Cincinnati? Hopefully, there's plenty. We'll go with Dallas to start off. Besides the red card, go to reverse order.
Well, that was a magic moment for me. That really put me on the map there. Because you got to understand. Listen, I was Mitch Hildebrandt Jr. for 2 years. We come out after games to sign autographs, and everyone's like, "Mitch, come here, Mitch, come here." And I'm wearing a different jersey number, but we're both brunette guys with beards, so I was always getting confused for them. But I don't know. I think it's hard for me to compete with that very first home game because we as players never knew we were getting these massive crowds at a USL. It was a second division club, brand new in the city that we knew nothing about. And we walk out, 18,000 people. About 12 of us had mustaches for that game, which I still can't believe we did that and why we did that. But it was just a special start to what ended up being a pretty awesome experience. And it's funny because Ross Tomaselli was the leader of those mustaches. He was the one who got us all psyched up. Hey, home opener, let's do mustaches. Day of the game, he shaved his off and came to the locker room.
I remember that.
He got soft on us. But, yeah, I mean, you can see the Austin Berry goal where he's got the handlebar mustache, the second goal of that game. Yeah, it was a special day.
Actually, you can't see it right here, but this is Austin's jersey from that playoff match that first year. So definitely love those jerseys. Mike?
Man, yeah, most of my memories are off the field, obviously. But
CST
I don't know
after
why.
dark, pal.
No, I mean, most of I didn't travel with the team once, so most of my stories are with like Francisco, Alvaro, and all those guys. There's one moment that's standing out to me. Because I made the team through the open tryouts, and I used to always wear basketball shorts when I would play soccer. and I actually wore basketball shorts to the open tryouts. And Derek Luke I don't know if he had gone to the one or seen pictures or something, but I remember the first day, because I came like 2 days into camp here, and we were like in the Lazy River. Was the first time I joined the team at the UC Rec Center, like doing rehab. And I walked in and I was like, "Yo, what's up, bro?" And he was like, "What's up?" And then he looked at me. He was like, "Wait, you're the basketball short guy. Like, how did you make this team?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." But yeah, I mean, obviously played in Crystal Palace. That was probably my favorite moment. And then obviously all the green team scrimmages. Time of my life.
When you guys all come back, you should do a tour of Mercy Hill training facility and then be like, "Why wasn't this here when we were playing? What the heck?"
We're Nippert guys through and through.
Yeah.
You guys are burning your cleats on Nippert Stadium's fake grass, right?
Yeah, it was great getting some of the college people off before training. Being like, okay, we got to train.
Pat, you had some pretty fun games. I mean, I think you were with the club for first two seasons.
Yeah, second season, not really. I enjoyed it from the stands, which was good too. It was a good experience. But yeah, I would say like Crystal Palace, and obviously just the atmosphere. You know, that's the best place that I've played atmosphere wise. So it's like, yeah, wish I could relive those moments. But yeah, that's probably what I go for. Off the pitch, there's probably plenty of good stories, but don't really remember many.
Crystal Palace was awesome, and I think I'll always cherish it because I don't know if we'll ever get that hyped up now for an international game. But like at that moment, at that point in time, it was so cool, so special for all of us new whatever fans that were just like, "Oh my goodness, somebody from the other side of the world wants to come here to Cincinnati." And so the whole city just shows up. Like, do these guys even look like normal people?
So quick one on that game. After the game, actually, we were trying to get the Crystal Palace guys to go out with us just in Cincinnati. And we were telling them a bunch of spots. And somehow Jimmy and I ended up together, and we were at a bar, and we ran into Alan Pardew, and he was there.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Should we talk to him? Should we go up to him? Should we buy him a drink?" So we ended up getting around to shots and bringing it over to Alan. And we were like, first we had to tell him, "Hey, we just played against you." He wasn't going to recognize us, but we ended up giving him the shot. He gave us a few words of advice. It was actually pretty cool, but I'm trying to remember, Jimmy, did he like not take it or like give it back to you or something happened?
He took it, but it was like just a really awkward conversation. You know, we thought he was going to be like buzzing to like take a shot with these two random USL guys who just played in an international friendly that he's going to forget about in like 2 weeks. But so we didn't get like the reaction that we really were hoping for. But I think it was Ross who bought the shots. And
you did a jersey swap that game too. You did a jersey swap.
Oh, this is a good one. This is actually a really good one. What a moment that night was, huh? So so like whenever we're playing an international friendly, like it's a huge deal for the players. Like it's an awesome opportunity to play against these guys playing at the highest level. And it's always cool to like try to get somebody's jersey, you know? And like the reality is like, we all understand, like, I know that the guys on Crystal Palace, they don't want my jersey. Like I get it. So like the game's over. Like, I think the guy's name was Lee Chung Young, and he was balling out for Crystal Palace. And I'm like I'm going for his jersey right as the game ends. Like that was like, I was thinking about it the last like 5 minutes, you know? I go up to him. I'm like, "Yo, man, like, listen, like you were amazing out there. I think you're like a really good player." I'm like, "I know you don't want my jersey, but like, can I have your jersey?" He's like, yeah. But he's like, "But can I have your jersey too?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like you can have my jersey." Like that's like, I'm like, he must think, he probably thought I had a good game or something. I'm like, I was honored. So he takes my jersey. I take his, like, you know, we high five. I start walking back into the locker room. And like a couple other guys like got people's jerseys, but they didn't like give their jersey away. So everybody starts asking me, they're like, "Yo, like, where's your jersey? Like, did somebody ask for it?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I traded," and the guy, like, he asked for my jersey, you know, like I'm feeling pretty good. Everybody's like buzzing. They're like thinking that's sweet. So we go home, like we come in the next morning for a regen, and like I'm still like, everyone's still buzzing about it. Like I'm feeling really good. Everyone's thinking like, you know, I'm the man because this guy asked for my jersey. And Shizler, who was our equipment manager at the time, he comes walking in and he's like, "Hey, Jimmy, I found this in the trash can of the away team locker room." He just comes out with my jersey, like in front of the whole group, too.
No way.
Like he couldn't even pull me aside. Like he literally just just threw me under the bus in front of everybody.
Oh my, bro! I did not know that. I don't think I was there.
That was a tough moment for me. Just wait till you get back to the hotel to throw it away. You know, like.
Oh shoot, that's funny. I will remember the one thing about that game is those Crystal Palace supporters could drink, and there's several of them passed out in the front window of Mex that night. So that's pretty good. Weeda, I know you're the club's first goal ever in club history. You know, can you top that? I mean, what's your favorite moment?
Yeah, I mean that was pretty cool. The Red Bull Open Cup game, even though we lost, like that one, the atmosphere was absolutely electric. The fact that we went up, like it was incredible. So that was up there. Off the field, I don't know if it's like my favorite memory, but it just encapsulates what the USL is so well, right? Like you hear stories about like minor league baseball, like that's how it was. We would go on the road. The first stop when we're taking these 10-hour bus rides back would be get pizza and get beer, right? And that's how you got by because it's super uncomfortable and you just play the game and it's miserable. But one time we went to, I think I might have told this on this one way back, but one time we went to Wilmington, right? And it was like a 14-hour bus ride. And so we got a sleeper bus, right? And we were putting out for this one. And Jimmy and I were like, you know what we'll do? Like the bus was leaving the apartments at like 10 p.m. or something. We're like, come over. We'll get some wine. We'll crush some wine. That way we're feeling good. And then we can get in these sleeper bunks and just pass out, right? And it was a brilliant idea. Did it, got on the bus, passed out in the little sleeper coves or whatever, and then wake up all refreshed. Bus was stopped, get off the bus, thinking, cool, we're in Wilmington. This is the best idea ever. And we had gone like 3 hours and the bus had broken down and we had been on the side of the road for like some dude to come with a part. So that one always just sticks out because we were thinking we had figured it out, but it's just like the most USL thing ever, right? We went 3 hours, we're sitting on the road for 6 and then had another 10 hours to go to get to where we needed to. So.
I always wondered if that was tough on you guys playing at Nippert Stadium, having all those fans, and then boom, you're in Harrisburg, and it's like 20 people. I went to Harrisburg, and we as away fans outnumbered the home fans, and there was only 30 of us. So I was like, man, I wonder if this is just tough, or if it's better because you can like hear each other when you're,
that was something that was tough for us the first year because it makes it almost like a competitive disadvantage, right? Like everyone, because of the support from all the fans that first year and the crowds we were getting, clubs would come in and they would just get so amped, right? That was their game of the year. They're used to playing in front of, 12 people and mom and dad. And then, they come in and there's 15,000, 20,000 fans. So they just get absolutely jacked up. So it made it a little bit tougher, I thought.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say this is that I know it's this comment's going to sound a little weird, but like I felt like a lot of the fans developed relationships with a lot of you guys over the first couple of years, and that's what succeeded. I mean, you guys went to random parks to meet fans, and like I remember meeting some like Patty Barrett in Northgate Mall on a random Tuesday night, and like that's the things that happened over those first couple of years where you guys built this club on your backs, on the field, off the field. And we lost a lot of that through the first couple of years, and I think it's kind of come back a little bit. I mean, Jimmy, you were there with Matt, and that was a really great night. But the amount of work you guys did off the field to build what we have now will never be forgotten. That's why we still know we love. We give you crap, Pat, for Louisville, but you were still a cherished part of our club in Dallas. There's reasons why people still remember that. I mean, because that. Like we see you fought for us regardless, and we appreciate that. And now you guys are doing this, and with our city's name is attached to it, it's very meaningful. So we just appreciate you guys, and please, Mike, pump it out. Let us know how we can support you, whether it's donations, whatever. I mean, what we need to do is have a big training session, just charge tickets to it to get you guys some support. But man, it'd be
great
a great
idea.
time.
Let's do it.
Hey,
$1,000 a pop.
Hey man, let's go. Weigel Associates will support. Will sponsor.
I will say most of my stories from that first year are actually with y'all. I mean, like I set a club record. I think I did 56 club appearances that year. I mean, for multiple reasons. One, I wasn't playing, and I was like trying to add value wherever I could. And two, they would sometimes be like, yo, $50 for someone. I'm like, $50, I need everything. Give me all of them. I mean, I remember doing like the most random appearances with Francisco. Like there was one time we made $100 just going to this like arcade, and we just walked in. And they picked us up in a limo, and me, Francisco, and Alvaro were just dancing this limo the whole time. And we showed up, and they just gave us like, you know, those foam cups, and it was literally just filled with coins. And they were just like, just play games with the people here. And we were like, okay. And we just played a game. But like, I mean, there was so many great appearances that year that we met so many great people. And I mean, that was the best part for me. Honestly, I loved it and enjoyed getting to meet all you guys. I still remember playing in that soccer golf tournament that first season. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like why it's been cool to get all these guys together. You know, it's like, I know how much like that first season specifically meant to the city and how much these guys did all that work to build everything. But so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be just great to play together again. So.
Yeah, no donuts were done in golf carts that day, by the way. None at all.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the king of flipping golf carts. I've flipped 4 golf carts in my life.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you coming on. I think we got to wrap this up. Brian, he put stuff after this segment to pretend like we'd have time for it. We totally don't. But we appreciate you guys coming on. This is a blast. We will push this out, especially as it gets closer, and the fans in Cincinnati are gonna want to show up and do this. So if you're listening, go ahead and mark your calendars. It's coming. It's soon. And stay tuned for more information as more teams come out, and we can all get excited about this together. I hope it's an awesome tournament. I hope it does so well they have to like keep relaunching it.
They'll definitely. I mean, the goal is to do it annually.
Awesome.
Whether it's going to be in Cary, North Carolina, I'm actually trying to get them to bring it here. I'll put that out publicly. I'll put some pressure on them.
We'd fill it.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
We definitely would fill it. I mean, that's why I'm trying to get them to do it. It also will save us money on travel expenses too. Yeah, I mean, they're talking about potentially doing it in other big markets that are not even in the States for future years too. But so there's been a lot of attention on it and a lot of big names coming to be a part of it. So hopefully we can bring it here, honestly.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure to check out the Natty SC on Twitter. Do you guys have any other social media where they can find you?
Yeah, just Twitter and Instagram right now. It's been the main two. So.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll hopefully talk to you guys pretty soon, and hopefully see you at a game and cheer you on down in June in Cary.
Heck yeah, let's get a group shot, screenshot. We got to do it. Weeda, hold up your golf club. You got to get a golf club in every shot.
Is that what it is? I did see.
Last time too. I got to keep something different here.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, cool.
Nice.
There you go.
Thanks.
All right,
Appreciate
guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
How do you get out of this room?
I got you.
I really appreciated him doing that countdown there because we're live, so we got to keep it moving, keep the voices going. We hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit different than our normal flow, but it's necessary. It's cool. It's talking to the old names. Brian did a great job of getting all that together, so thank you again. This is, as I said, a new season of Cincinnati Soccer Talk, and we are pleased to be launching another new year of content. Our team has been planning and working behind the scenes on the upcoming year. Every offseason, we have a natural slight drop in support, right? The season ends. Everything dies down a little bit. So that's why we wanted to give a big shout out for the following fans that are making our 2023 possible, including a big thank you to our newest supporter this week who just popped in on our support page under just a single name, Olympico. I think he's hinting at maybe something, but the name is Olympico, which is cool. Seriously, though, there's only one reason Cincinnati Soccer Talk has existed from 2016 to 2003, and that is because of you, fan support. Watching Sports Nation cut their MLS blogs of financial support this past week made us appreciate you all even more. So here are the people that keep Cincinnati free to use for everybody. Red Lee, John Davidson, a dinosaur roar. You guys are getting creative with these names. Robert Stevens, Laurel Failer, Matthew Adamczyk, Riley Stephen Burke, James Denbrough, Tom Newhouse, Brian and Brad Weigel, Brian Gills, Dan Alberts, Will Kychek, Ian Rexroad, Carl Fight, Christina Sharma, Kyle Pohl, Rupesh, Tom Beaversdorf, Jason, who is super average, John Haskell, Ryan Ernst, Mary Lou, Wes Anastasi, Rob Pierce, Clifford Adams, Thomas Stepp, Pierce Johnson, Mike Parentis, David Wiederhold, Rob Gassell, Kevin Day, Paul Hedker, Jamie Smed, Alex Carnegus, Dave Tingler, Patrick Lahani, Mike Bowman, Brett Sova, Chris Hubbard, Kevin Cooney, Joe Max, Jack Emery, Sarah Gorman, David Moore, Bob Ryan, Ryan Durkin, Bart Labita, Rob Trappell, Joe Lohr, Bill Leopold, Maureen Desmarais, Jose, David Myers, John Caffardi, and again, Olympico, whoever you are. Thanks for supporting Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
When they say dinosaur roar, I don't think they meant you to say a dinosaur roar. I think they meant you to go roar.
You know who that is. That's got to be, because it used to be 1, 2, 3 Mike Hudson. So that is Mike Hudson, who changed his name. So you could also support Cincinnati Soccer Talk on our website /support, or just go to Patreon and search for us. Thanks so much, guys. We have a player on this team who is not signed, and a lot of people have been asking, hey, who's that guy in that picture? When's FC Cincinnati getting more help, more support? We had Justin talk to Coach Noonan this week, actually, and it sounds like our coach is a big fan. Brian, can you give us a rundown?
Yeah, we'll jump past the U.S. men's national team stuff too at some point. But Santiago Arias, former Atletico Madrid right back, has been training with FC Cincinnati for, I don't know, a week or two. Coach Nuno is very flattering of him, but I guess they said there's some comments where they're friendly with some agents, and so we'll kind of see what happens here. I don't know if this is just training with us to get back into shape to sign back in Europe. Is it something where he's here till the 31st and sign somewhere, or after then, does he stay here and sign with FC Cincinnati? I mean, I think there's a lot of things that happen. I don't think it's very certain, but if we can get a guy of his caliber, he's fit, and we judge him to be good enough, I think immediately he'd come in day one with a significant improvement in that right back spot.
That's the key, though, if he's fit. Last season he was with, I think, Granada. They were in La Liga, but they were also relegated in the past season. So he ended up missing, I think, 4 months of the year because of a hamstring injury. And half of those games that he was involved in, he was on the bench. So
the right back role, though, is a spot, I think, where we can roll the dice on a guy like this. He doesn't have to play every, if we have, I think there's like 5 times where we go like Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday with Powell and with Gaddis. We don't need him to play 30 games. If he plays 20 games, 20 meaningful games. I'll
admit, if we have him on our team, granted, you're going to have 3 older veterans in that spot, but and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say this about Zico, but this is an improved right back situation compared to last year.
Man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of questions in here. Money has to be primo, but this is a guy who was linked with Manchester United in September. Yeah, it was rumors, but he's still being linked with top 4, top 5 level sides. And the fact that we are able to have relationships with our front office to bring him in here, to have him train, shows another, I guess, feather in Chris Albright's cap that, he's able to go and get the right player if it does indeed become the right player.
If he's still here, he's still in preseason with us.
A week.
It's serious. It's pretty serious. You guys don't hang around that long.
Yeah, and
that's my theory.
I mean, he's a free agent as far as I know. So it don't think it matters. The transfer window doesn't matter at all to him. So
Vermeer was over in Holland and hasn't signed yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to talk about it. It happened. We know we don't have a lot of time, but last night was pretty cool, huh? I stayed up to watch our hometown boy play for the United States men's national. I have never been more excited to watch USA play, and it was in a game that meant nothing. It was a game we lost, and I still was super pumped.
Yeah, I did a really informal poll on my Twitter account asking how much this result matters, and I think a lot of people were more like, "We just here for the Vazquez."
How many people turned the damn game off as soon as he subbed out? This guy,
You went to bed because you're tired.
Oh,
didn't you?
totally. 11:30. Click.
I was hoping maybe for an extra 15 minutes we can see something, but yeah, unfortunately, I think they kept in the guys that were still young that could go 90 minutes, and you knew that they weren't going to score anything after that.
Outside of his wonderfully taken goal, he had 3-4 shots. His runs were very well taken. I think some of his other teammates ran into some of his channels that, would sometimes drag a defender into his path, which made things more difficult for Brandon. But overall, I think he was one of the top 3 best players on that field last night for Team USA. And I guess it's not saying much considering that it was in a loss, but he also didn't have the ball too much. Was his hold-up play a little bit rough? Yes, but guy hasn't also played in 3 months. But how many people can say they scored for their country and also on their debut? So just tremendous. My heart burst out of my chest. I made so much damn noise when that goal went in and woke up my 3-year-old. But yeah, tremendous.
And who knows what we're going to see with the next game, because that's I think it's a more family friendly timing. I think it's like a 7 o'clock game on Saturday against Colombia. And who knows if we see Roman maybe getting some shine there. I know that he was held out of that game. Sean Johnson was the backup. It would be nice if Roman could even be just a backup on the bench, and maybe they use Sean Johnson. See how he does on his way up to Toronto.
Yeah, I put this in a story last week. I wouldn't hold my breath. There's precedent in bringing in first-time keepers, as these guys are that third guy to warm up everybody else, to get used to the situation, and then in subsequent camps appear. It's a gauge to see how well Roman fits in with the group. And I know that group is ever changing, especially now that the U.S. Soccer Federation technical director left. The GM just quit. The head coach is gone. So it's a crazy time to be a debutante in the U.S. setup. But it's just amazing to have 2 guys a part of this. I couldn't have imagined that 12 months ago. I think we had Garza 3-4 years ago, and he didn't even make it because he got hurt. But it's a great feeling.
Yeah, I think Frank had a cup of coffee at some point, but
got
wasn't
COVID.
going.
Got
Yeah,
COVID,
that's the cup. That's the cup of coffee I was talking about.
I feel so sad for that guy.
But man, you're right. It was exciting. It's cool. Brandon, get more starts for the U.S. men's national team, because it really amps up my my patriotism. I'll tell you that. My local patriotism really gets on fire.
But I thought you were about to say nationalism there. I'm like, whoa.
No, I'm a big I'm not a big
a
Twitter scroller now, if that makes sense. I don't just like fly through it as much as I used to. But last night I couldn't get enough. I even searched the word Vazquez just to read anything anyone possibly said about that goal.
I know. And I'm so happy for our country and everything, but it's kind of also funny that the FC Cincinnati player scored a goal and the Columbus Crew player massively underperformed, and the Nashville SC player let it go in. So I don't care. No, I do care.
And the Chicago goalie was
he was he hung out to dry on both those.
He made 2 really good saves, and that double
he did
save
all right.
there.
He got kicked in the face. Yeah.
Then got kicked in the face, and his level went down. Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to wrap this thing up. We're already over. Awesome show tonight, guys. Thanks for being on. We'll give you your final thoughts like normal. We'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah. Take a look at the calendar. Tomorrow is the 27th of January. It's the first preseason game tomorrow, and we don't get to see it. But
to be excited.
it should still, it tells you that we're within a month. By the time 30 days rolls around, we're going to be in our own stadium on the first game of the season. And that pumps me up much more than you would ever believe. So good luck to the team tomorrow. I know we'll see results more than we'll see action, but yeah, it feels good for it to start up.
And we'll go to Bry.
I don't know if I'm going to steal anything from you, Boston, but again, thank you guys for your support. We've actually had a lot of relationships with the SB Nation sites that are experiencing some trouble and some uncertain futures right now. We're actually working with several of them on charting paths forward. So, hopefully we can help them in their future, just like you guys helped us. So, it's, we all have 9-to-5s here, and we do this purely about, the love of the club. We just had a staff meeting yesterday, and we reviewed our finances, and it's not tremendous, but it pays the bills. It keeps things going. It allows us to send our riders out to do things to cover the club as best we can. And we wouldn't be able to do this stuff without you guys. And so thank you for the downloads. Thank you for the reviews, everything. We're blessed to be here, and hope we can help other people find their feet here soon. So thank you guys so much, and keep following us so the club lets us keep covering them too. So
yeah. I don't think it's any secret that the Sports Nation thing is kind of a bummer, even though they probably were not heavily offsetting those websites. It still is hosting costs, and the bigger you want to make your operation too, the more expensive it gets, right? You need Photoshop. If you got photographers, you need audio software. The better you want to make your podcast, and the list goes on and on. Even the software we use to stream is not cheap. So those Sports Nation sites are now in a situation where they're trying to decide whether they want to stay, whether it's worth it to stay. Are there enough? Do the fans want it? Do they still have the motivation because they just had their feet cut out from under them? And it's been encouraging to see. We've had several reach out, right, Brian, and ask us, how do you guys do it? How do your fans support you? We've lost Sports Nation. Can we follow a CST model? Will that work? And if you're listening and you happen to just work for another Sports Nation's website, let us know. We'll be glad to help and do what we can to show you what we do. You may decide that sucks. You want to do your own thing. That's fine. But if we can help, we want to help you. So please do reach out. And I think, that's about it. We do have a live show coming up.
Oh, yes.
Norden supporter group has invited us back. We did this last year, and it was really cool. They had their scarf release party at Grainworks in Westchester, and it's like there's like an auction that is tied to a charity, as well as 10% of the beer sales. St. Vincent de Paul, right? It's the charitable organization.
Down the West End, yep.
Gary the Lion, Corbin Bone will be there.
We
will be there doing a live show at 5:30. Show up, support us, support them, support charity. This is a win-win-win for you, and you might even walk away with a cool scarf. That at least you can do. Just throw a little bit of money at the Norton's way. Thanks for inviting us again, by the way. We didn't know if you'd have us after last year. We thought
it is a family-friendly environment. The same place that we had our World Cup shows at, just an easy right off the highway off 75 in Westchester, right by Liberty Center. So come out. Is kind of what he said. There's auction items. I think Jason won a tattoo last year, and it's all for a great cause and benefiting the West End community.
I don't win nothing, but my money went to a good spot, so I guess that's all right. Thanks for listening to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We will be back a lot more frequently now that
on Mondays
are getting going. And that's right. We are going to move back to Mondays, back to your regular scheduled time frame, so you can get your Tuesday drive back on track. Again, thanks. We will see you soon.